Trying to begin. All right, welcome to Uncompromising Tang. On this edition, Jesse Firestone will be interviewing Ido Rosenblit, a local St. artist. So let's begin. You shared a studio with James Franco, where James Franco hung out in your studio in college?
Oh, right, yeah, we were just talking about that. I had this was a long weird story. He was like a grad student when I was a senior at university. And I guess he was studying like new media or something. And he really liked comic books. And he wanted to, he met my friend Lila, who also makes comic books. And since he can't draw, he asked her to illustrate like these like screenplays that he wrote or something. And so he would like come over to my studio every Thursday and like draw and talk to himself in the comic books.
I heard he's painting now.
Yeah, he's like painting like illustrations for like some magazine. So I follow him on Instagram. So it's pretty good.
It's good that you're still friends on social media. So what do you think of this merger between pop and art, and that intersection in culture?
Pop and art, what do you mean?
James Franco, making art, Lady Gaga, art pop.
Oh, right, yeah. It's sort of funny. It's like it's a very I don't know about James Franco, but it's like people for some reason think they like it's more legitimate if I'm like consider myself like an artist, like Jeff Koons is like an artist, so he's like the most successful one, so that means he's like the best, so I should like collaborate with him or something. That's a very weird kind of thing. I don't know. It doesn't feel very forced. It's like I don't know. I think she was doing art anyway. I don't know why she needs to like. Into it makes it like more legitimate.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
You're talking about the relationship between Gaga and Jeff Koons, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem it's just like, oh, you're successful, I'm successful.
I hate that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's like I'm all for like collaboration and stuff. All that stuff. It doesn't seem like okay.
Do you have any alter egos?
Yeah. When I was in college, I did some stuff. I like made posters. Fake political posters of Berlusconi and the Pope and stuff, and I would print them out and then kind of plaster them all around like Rome and stuff.
So were you studying abroad in Rome? In Rome?
Yeah. I originally had a program.
How long were you there?
That semester, about 6 months.
Was it fruitful?
Yeah, I really liked it. It really changed my whole practice. I think.
What changed?
Well, I was like kind of like used to oil painting, guy, very seriously. And then I couldn't bring any of my oil paints to Italy because yeah, you can't bring it's like toxic stuff, so you can't bring any of it to plane. So, but I got my water-based stuff, so like wash and watercolors and stuff. I just started talking about that. Yeah. And so my work changed around drastically, so I was sort of forced to use these different mediums, and I was sort of in Rome. You're kind of like surrounded by all this like amazing art, thousands of years of civilization, and it's really kind of overwhelming.
Did you feel small?
Yeah, I just feel like this shit's been around for hundreds of years, and fucking I've been here. Fit into this thing.
It's my fucking Florence.
Yeah, it's like so overwhelming, and so. I realized that Italy, they have, could maybe have the best art ever made, but they have the worst politics I've seen of any kind of like Western country. Like the politicians are even worse than ours.
Yeah,
So.
they're pretty bad, pretty dirty over there.
Yeah, so when I was in Rome, Berlusconi was prime minister, and he was like, this is like free, like bang for free. He was, wasn't fucking prostitutes yet, but he was still pretty popular. And he just like. I started doing research about him, and he just seemed like such a fucking dirtbag.
Did a lot of your work take after that, or was that?
Yeah, so I was like, I started making these kind of like caricatures of him, like fucking like devil women and stuff like that. So I made like, because when I was there was elections going on in Italy, So the whole city was covered in political posters, and they had like 20 different political parties there, you know, and they had like the second biggest communist party after outside of Russia. So they have all kinds of people screaming at each other. So you see these like guys putting up posters everywhere. So I just made like these fake.
So that's what got you on that kick.
Yeah. So then I did one about Berlusconi, who is fucking devil women, and then I did one this big long one about all the popes. And so my back to your question, my alter ego there is called Dodo. Yeah.
How'd you come up with Dodo?
That's what my friends called me.
From high school, middle school,
college.
college.
Yeah. Oh, you know, like Dodo Bird?
Yeah.
And, right. And yeah, so I don't know. So we kind of whenever they want to make fun of me.
How did it stick? Or why did it stick? Do you feel like a Dodo bird?
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I smoked a lot of weed in college, and I would like be a little goofy and just say weird shit, and then people would say, "Oh, Dodo."
Dodo and that, I think.
Yeah. So that was my. Some people still call me that.
Is Dodo, it is an alter ego, is it also like a superhero?
I guess I don't know. It's just like gives me reasons to like post posters on the wall. I get there like 5 in the morning and illegally post shit on buildings and stuff. So.
Is Dodo still coming out sometimes?
Yeah, I was doing this mural last month, and I was kind of just doing stuff. So yeah, I think I might want to keep doing this kind of stuff.
Where was that in your life?
Is that the left building? It's painted on this big wall.
It's in black and white also, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you draw Dodo? You can see what Dodo looks like.
Dodo? Okay. Let's see.
Is there one friend that brought up Dodo, or is it kind of like came once?
I think what my friend Sonia asked, I mentioned to her like kind of shyly that like my mom calls me Dodo.
It came back to haunt you.
And of course she's like, oh, that's cute. It's
Yeah.
calling me that. So sometimes they call me like Dodo Rose.
Dodo Rose?
Yeah.
What's the rose from?
My last name's Rose.
Wow.
Just like it translates to bloody rose.
Live is what?
Yeah. Nice, Eastern European juju.
Rose's website, so you can go and like check out like where your origin of your name, especially for Christians.
Right. Yeah, I think mostly because they like didn't allow us to have like certain like you couldn't be like nobility, so you had to like your name had to like basically reference like what you did for a living.
Yeah, exactly.
That's correct.
Back and forth, tails.
Right.
So Dodo's a Cyclops.
Yeah, Cyclops are cool.
Yeah.
It's like,
Not too smart though. Let's get tricked.
no, they're just kind of like
It's Dodo.
running around like eating people. It's pretty logical shit.
So I know you said you engaged in some illicit activities in your you some Did you ever get arrested?
I've never been arrested. That's a good question. Like brought into like the station and stuff.
However you want to do that.
Nothing that serious. I mean, the weird thing about college is like, since like in Providence, because like Brown University and all these other colleges, when you're like a college student, it's almost like unless you're doing something really destructive, it's like you kind of almost get like free reign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like so, we'd be like smoking weed in the park, just blatantly, And so when the cops one time stopped us for doing it, he like searched us, and my friend had like a knife and like, more weed, and they were just like, okay, you can have your weed back and send us back home there. He wanted to give us a lecture, but it was like, it's ridiculous.
Did you listen? Of course, you closely.
Yeah, of course. I was worried. I was like, am I going to get arrested? But,
Yeah, I understand.
but then I realized, no, they just, I don't know, it's like that weird college mentality, like, they just let all that shit slide.
Yeah, there's a similar mentality here. I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like St. Louis needs, like, WashU. It's an economic business. Like,
definitely economically, and they also consider it a beacon of culture.
Right.
So it is.
Yeah, it's good.
Almost murder.
Well, yeah, it's just
So if you were to become a mug shot, what do you think?
I'm trying, let's see.
What time of year is this incident? Is it winter?
It's like springtime, so
That's nice. How
excited.
many parts would you need to do this?
Yeah, I'm excited because Bounce is cool as shit all. So, yeah, I'll enjoy that next weather.
It's colder than here, yeah.
Yeah, it snows a lot. It's just, like, so,
We've had a pretty brutal winter here.
I know, man, but Providence, it snows like he would make fun of us, but we kind of shit we forgot about. So,
What do you mean?
we would just get like 5 feet of snow. Constantly.
Do they close down?
They do sometimes just because most of the teachers are like traveling from like Boston or something, so they can't get to Providence, but it's good for us.
Yeah. They never close Washington. It's like other things.
So, I guess I feel like most of the professors all live 2 minutes away.
Yeah, in New York City, a lot of people do live.
Everyone's commuting from like Chicago.
No, definitely not. I did have one professor though who every weekend would take a train back to Chicago. And come back on like Monday mornings or straight Sunday.
This, New York is like 4 or 5 hours away, so.
Did you go to New York a lot?
Yeah.
You recently had a show there in New York, right?
Yeah, I did at this gallery called Silhouette Space.
Where is that?
It's in Brooklyn.
Was it a solo show or did you show with somebody else?
I showed my friend Armando Vesey, who's an artist out of Philadelphia.
Did you guys go to school together?
Yeah, we did, yeah. We went to Rome together.
Oh, was he in Brown? No,
He was at RISD. He studied illustration. He's a cool guy. But, yeah, I mean, there's some friends of ours both started a gallery, Silhouette Space. So we asked them if we could have a show.
That's
But yeah, it was a fun experience. It was nice to. So pretty much everyone I knew from college all moved to New York.
That's great.
So like when I had my show at Gondo, people were like, "Oh, it looks good, man. Send some pictures." You know?
I remember. Didn't you have some friends come in from upstate?
Yeah, I had 2 friends who came. New York. But most people couldn't, so it was nice to be able to show just some of them to show people what I'm going to.
Do you like the New York scene?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Weren't you just doing printmaking also?
Yeah, I just got a grant this week from Brad.
Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah. To make a new series of prints for these printmakers from New York.
Who are the printmakers?
This is the grant. It's for this one guy, Derek, who's a printmaker who specializes in etching at a place called Harlan and Weaver in Chinatown. So.
Chinatown's bumping right now. There's a lot of stuff going.
I know. I didn't really realize that. I kind of was sort of hung out there. But my friend was like, yeah, like showing on this one street, it was just every business was like a gallery.
Yeah.
Like tiny little gallery.
Really small.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I was just really seeing a lot of stuff.
I think it's a competition between Harlem and Chinatown. What's the next big spot?
Oh, really?
Brooklyn's already out, you know.
Brooklyn's out?
Yeah, Brooklyn's out. Bushwood's dead.
I was in Bushwick too, yeah. I have a friend who was
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's kind of cultish though. Did you feel that over there?
Cultish?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all cultish. I don't know. What do you mean cultish?
There's just like this certain aesthetic that everyone drools over there.
What's the aesthetic?
It's like, I would call it zombie aesthetic, or like ghost aesthetics, like ghosts of modernism, I guess. Like Prince Robin comes to mind. Do you know them?
So?
Prince Robin?
No.
They're these 2 Brooklyn sisters, they're siblings.
Yeah.
We do like performance art.
Right.
Out there. So you were born in Israel, right?
I was, yeah.
And you lived there for how long?
I lived only for a year.
You don't remember that too much. So where did you say you grew up?
I kind of moved around a lot. I came to New York '89, and I lived in Rhine, New York, just like outside of New York City. We were like,
It's a great mug.
thanks, yeah. But yeah, I lived in Rhine, New York for like 3 years, and then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona for 4 years.
It's quite the climate change.
Yeah. And then, yeah, my dad liked it a lot because it was like a desert and it was mostly desert. So it was cool. But
There's like this.
then we moved to St. Louis because my dad's a shoe designer. St. Louis used to have, still doesn't have, still a lot of shoes.
This is in the early 90s or mid-90s?
Mid-90s, yeah, I moved here in '94, right when we had that big flood.
What big flood? Draw the big flood.
Yeah, you know, like the arch. You got the arch, and then by the water, you know, the Mississippi River. And the Mississippi River at the time, '94, you had a big flood, and it came all the way up to the arch.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I thought that's like how they do it. Like I thought when I was a little kid, I was like, oh,
They flood the river.
I thought the river just comes straight up to the arch. You just like swimming and just, you know, hanging out. It's cool.
Did you go down there when it was flooded?
I did, yeah, when we first moved here. It was pretty cool.
Has there been a big flood since? Or was that the big flood?
That was the big one, yeah. I think we built some good dams and shit.
Shouldn't he was kind of dirty and all that's going on with the city.
No, that'd be bad.
Do you like the arch? Do you think it's a good monument gateway to the west?
Well, it's the fastest monument. I don't forget that. When I was in Rome, this fucking Italian like architect guy who just randomly brings it up that like, oh yeah, Mussolini wanted to build like an arch in Rome over the Tiber River.
Oh,
He wanted to build like a cross from this big stone arch.
yeah, that would go over it, you're saying?
Yeah. So, you know, arches are cool. And of course, then World War II broke out and at the time we wanted to build that shit. So it was, and then this guy who designed the arch, he kind of like took that idea and ran with it. Thought it would work well. You know, Mississippi monument to the gateway. They don't really tell you that shit in the museum.
No, they don't.
So it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, it was kind of weird. Hey, Mussolini.
At least you had a good idea for his art, you know?
Yeah, you know, if you want
Too bad it never came to fruition, although we get it now, which is really nice.
yeah, but ours is like kind of like sleek, like the whole like stainless steel
Yeah.
thing, you know.
You're saying this is going to be made out of brick, that's right?
This is made out of, you know, stone, some marble shit.
You know how they made the arch, right? You know the whole like, cooling process they have.
The what?
Cooling and heating process?
I don't know.
So, like, the arch is built like symmetrically up, you know, at the same time on both sides, and then they put the centerpiece in, and it wouldn't fit, so they had to like cool one side of the arch because the sun was on it, so the metal would expand, and they had to like pour water on the other side to make it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a really laborious process.
Right, because the keystone.
Yeah, exactly. That one that holds it all together, you know. It's called the keystone, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. So that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I like to. My dog at the time liked to be pissed on me. But I don't know.
Have you ever thought of kissing one?
No. But yeah, it's kind of sad though in a way because that used to be like one of the like original. That was like the first that whole area of the park. That used to be like where the original people settled and stuff.
I did not.
Yeah,
This makes sense, right?
right. Central communication. So basically, just bulldoze like the oldest part of St. Louis to make way for this big shiny monument to whatever, you know.
Whatever, exactly. It's really what it's become, a monument to whatever.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know how I feel about that. It makes me kind of like seems to be all we do here is just like bulldoze.
I mean, isn't that part of history, destroying history to make, you know, new histories? Yeah.
So, one thing I was talking about in Rome was that the biggest destroyers of Rome were not like, you know, the Visigoths or like the fucking, you know, some like, you know, barbarians at the gate. It was actually the Romans themselves.
Yeah.
Who were like, we need to build the Vatican, so let's like rip off all the marble from like
Destruction, destruction, you know that. That's cycle. So I'm going to go back to your childhood. Draw me your childhood home in your least favorite season.
Least favorite season. My home, I mean, so like I moved around a lot, but then in the 90s.
So you're like Los Angeles is like your.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. So I have to spend, so I'd say. St. Louis is what it's now. So.
St. Louis is fun.
Yeah, it's big. But unfortunately, I didn't grow up in St. Louis, I grew up in Chesterfield.
Wow.
You ever been there?
Yeah, once I've driven through.
Yeah, exactly. Chesterfield is like what happened when the, I guess it was in the 60s, we had like white flight, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so basically all the white people were like, I don't want to be in the city anymore, so I'm going to move to this boring place. I used to be all farmland, and we're going to make strip malls and stuff. So, that's pretty much Chesterfield is.
Sort of similar to the town I grew up in.
Right, you're from Florida?
Yeah, South Florida.
Yeah.
Strip malls and big
Yeah, that too is nice. Though my neighborhood was kind of weird because it was filled with Orthodox Jews. So
That's interesting. Is that one of the reasons why you guys moved there?
no.
Just
It's just by circumstances. I mean, I think it happened kind of later after. Because you built like a synagogue and like this work neighborhood. Just all moved there because it's like close to Washington. It's pretty weird. Like go and like see them all walking to the synagogue.
It's Orthodox Jews, they don't drive.
Especially can't drive. Yeah, which makes sense if you live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But if you live in fucking Chesterfield, that might be a big problem. You're not going to want to take a bus. So, yeah, so you have to literally move to like that neighborhood so you can walk. So I see them, you know, in the summertime sweating.
Those people do not, man.
Tell me about it.
Do you believe in God?
Not particularly, though. I don't know.
Do you wish you believed in God? Religious.
I don't know. What I just don't think it really makes sense. Like things of that kind of. I don't know. People don't seem to. To me, it makes as much sense that there was just randomness. You know. I don't know. People like to create higher meaning for themselves. Like, give it more of a reason for being themselves. They don't have to think of themselves as like part of nature.
I mean, no one wants to be like a microscopic speck in a cosmic soup.
Right, exactly. Oh, you don't like to think about that there have been, you know, so many other kind of species on this planet that have been extinct. You want to be a part of that.
Freaks me out when I look into our solar system. I kind of look at a telescope at that tower, and I see all the barren planets. I'm just like,
Yeah.
were they once fruitful too? Were they once green?
Right, yeah. So it's like, I don't know, people don't think about that. You know, in significance. But
I definitely had like an ego destruction last time I watched Cosmos. I'll say.
right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That used to freak me out when I was little, like when I think about that, like dying. So, about that.
Do you have any weird experiences with death?
Yeah, you know, like family members dying. So that's always good. Yeah, I used to have a twin brother and he committed suicide.
Shit, I'm sorry.
So that was always like weird.
How old were you?
I was in high school. He killed himself the day before prom. So it was this kind of psychotic experience. Yeah. So it was a real bummer. But yeah, so I don't know, so that sort of changed my opinion about death. Kind of saw how like, I don't know, just sort of random kind of stuff. One day it's there and it's all.
Yeah.
So you know, just have to enjoy it. So.
Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 older brothers. So, yeah, so.
You lived on a cul-de-sac?
I'm in a cul-de-sac, some people.
Is that a detached finger?
What, here?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I don't know, yeah, so childhood definitely sucked a lot, you know. The whole St. Louis thing, and then it was like,
Is it tough moving around?
yeah, because you kind of like, when I moved to Chesterfield, like everyone had been there since they were babies. So I was like, this people that way.
And you could tell Mark were popular in the 90s.
I know, but I wasn't. That was my kind of thing. So it was, I don't know, people were kind of, like they have like a quota of like friends. And it's like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's just super weird, man. It was like this horrible place, and it just got worse. And this like dramatic, horrible ending. Like everything literally like collapsed. And then like my brother died.
Okay.
Right. So it was then like 6 months later, I went to college. So it was like this really dramatic like kind of death and like rebirth and that.
Yeah, that's a bit of a also.
Yeah, yeah. And I felt bad because my parents had like lived in that house for like a couple of years after that.
They don't live there anymore?
No. So it was like they were kind of like just sort of living in this like tomb or something.
Yeah.
It's really depressing. So I felt lucky that I was able to get the fuck out of there. Realized that like, oh, there's a whole world out there.
So college is really good for you.
Yeah, it definitely helped with all that stuff. You know, making the whole art thing was like a good outlet, so I was able to think about all that stuff, you know. I mean, most people don't have that.
Absolutely. Were you drawing before you went to college?
Oh yeah, yeah. My dad is he's a shoe designer, so like but he's also an artist before that. Like, he kind of tried being an artist. He even like lived in New York in the '70s and all that shit. Tried to make it.
It didn't happen.
No, he ended up having to kind of inherit his father's shoe company in Israel. So he had that. Plus quickly he ended up having 4 sons and a whole family. So,
You can't be hopping out into that.
can't be fucking making paintings about whatever. So to make a living. So he's a creative guy. So definitely encouraged me to draw when I started picking it up. Because my other brothers don't draw, so we liked it that I was kind of following his footsteps.
Were you the only one that got that gene?
No, me and my twin brother, he was also an artist. So, yeah, I don't know. So, I've been drawing since I was probably 5, 6. Why did you start later?
Yeah, I started very late, like junior year of high school.
Okay.
I just wanted to be someone fancy myself, and I found that.
Right out.
Yeah, photography worked.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's like technical.
Yeah,
But then, like, lose so much.
I think with my ADHD, having that like intense technicality, forced me to buckle down.
You said you have ADHD?
Yeah, I did. I think I've grown up.
That's good. You think that? I feel like everyone our ages kind of was given that.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the way we navigate everything, you have
It's
to.
like everyone is. I just literally just watched a video today about that, like how our generation has been so overprescribed that medication, and because it's like the world is filled with so many distractions.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do you expect any kids to
Focus. Yeah, exactly.
one shit like math, something like that? Expect that an iPhone
Yeah.
to the world.
Especially an iPhone with a calculator.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
when you just bring that up.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, I think that's why all these kids have ADHD. No, not to say like, it's all case by case, but like, people just like, Johnny's not paying attention for 5 minutes in class. Oh, he must have ADHD, let's turn him into like a zombie.
Let's do some of. No, yeah, Adderall definitely was what I needed.
Okay.
But not.
You're ramp up.
Yeah.
So you qualified.
Yeah. It's on the spectrum. Going on the spectrum.
Good. Spectrum of what?
ADHD.
Okay. I was wondering. Yeah.
I'm trying to go to the Kinsey spectrum. You trying to answer that question?
What?
The Kinsey spectrum?
No, I teach kids with autism, so.
That's what you do too.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Where do you teach?
Teach at a school called Giant Steps of St. Louis. Maplewood.
It's in Maplewood.
Yeah. And I have about 30 kids.
They're all your students?
Yeah.
That's quite the responsibility.
Oh, I don't. No, I just teach them art.
Okay.
So I do them all day.
How long are your classes?
Teach about 5 classes a day, an hour long classes.
How many days a week do you do?
Full time classes.
Wow.
Hey man, it's a good job.
Yeah, it is a job.
You can get one of those after you graduate.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
That's cool.
There it is.
Well, you're a photographer. That's much more practical.
Yeah, I've got a couple friends who are into acting, so I'm thinking of doing headshots on the side, because that's very lucrative.
Yeah. You can give me a headshot.
Yeah,
I actually do need one.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No, I hear you. I hear this is great.
I just got into this program at the Jewish Museum. This like conference thing. I'm going in the summertime.
The Jewish Museum here in New York.
In New York.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just thinking about like Jewish identity. So yeah, they like, do you want a bio, then like some headshot, like I'm an actor or something.
Yeah, I can blitz you up with nice lights and everything.
Yeah, I need to look beautiful. Rest these people.
You can make it happen.
I mean, I want to look like, make me look Jewish, but not too.
Yeah. We'll pull out the best people.
Yeah, really Photoshop me. Make me look like I have no pores or anything.
You want smooth skin?
Smooth skin, like maybe wrap my nose a little bit.
Okay. But isn't that part of Jewish identity?
Yes, but I don't know. I don't want like full Barbra Streisand.
No, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Sometimes I wonder. It's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah.
So tell me more about this conference.
Oh, it's like this organization called Tent that does these programs, kind of conferences about different aspects of Jewish culture. And I kind of stumbled onto it and then I applied. Accepted it.
Do you get most things you apply for?
No, I don't think so. I think that's kind of the shitty part about being an artist, you get rejected. But if you keep at it, I found in my experience, it's working out. You keep going. Like I got the rap thing this week, and then I got this thing at the Church Museum. So cool.
Sounds like a good week. Then you got this.
So yeah, I don't know, so then the week before I got rejected from this thing. So it's like, you get people like you, and so.
It's just not even tone to you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not too interesting. I just think there's just so many fucking artists out there.
There are.
It's like factory or school. And I wonder how can there be so many. Whenever I meet like someone who's like an engineer or something, I'm like, wow.
Prepare to read.
You need more of these guys. Like you build shit. But so I don't know. My brother, he's like the scientist guy. So he doesn't really get art because it has no practical.
Utilitarian.
Yeah, no one's not feeding anybody. No one's being helped. It's just like this thing. I don't know.
I mean, it is sometimes a bit of a selfish endeavor.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a narcissistic kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's sort of an interesting conflict about having teaching and making art. So half my day is teaching, helping these like autistic kids, it's good, but then the rest of the day I'm just in here.
You spend a lot of time in the studio?
Yeah, I try to go every day. So that's kind of my practice is you gotta do it every day. So.
Didn't you start drawing every day? Wasn't that part of your post-college?
Yeah, that was sort of what happened to me. I graduated from RISD, and then my dad died the last month I was in college. So I had to go to Israel, go to his funeral, and then I had to go, like, obligated to like help my mom out, and help her get settled in a new place, and all this shit. So all my friends were moving to New York, and I had this gig in New York, so I worked for this artist. I had to that up and come back here. And I was pretty depressed, working at home, back here in fucking Chesterfield. Fucking nightmare life. So I just started, I would just like leave my house whenever I could. I didn't have a studio, so I would just have a little sketchbook and I would draw on it consistently every day. Just to force myself to keep drawing. I feel like a lot of my friends kind of stopped doing that because they got so caught up with like life and stuff. So for me, even though it was like just a doodle in my sketchbook, it was something.
Kept your head in it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the advice I give anyone who's graduating. Just kind of whatever you do, keep doing it just for yourself. And plus, it's cool now because with the internet, you can audience.
Self-publish.
Yeah, all that stuff. So it's like people can see it. You don't need gatekeepers. So.
Does your blog have a nice following?
Yes. I'm not good. Over 1,500 people.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But it's like cool because it's like people from all over the world and stuff. It's like some Spanish girl writes me and says she likes my work and stuff. So.
You respond? Are you nice to your fans?
Yeah, I try to,
You not Japanese?
I'm not that cool, so I don't have to talk back. But yeah, I don't know. So that was happening. Like I started posting my work online, my blog, and then people started responding. Got a pretty good amount of people, enough that makes you want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. What happens after you graduate from school is you lose your audience. You have this built-in audience in college who are like literally forced to like give a shit about your stupid painting, and then as soon as you graduate, people are like, I don't give a fuck. It's like you're a dime a dozen. So I think people have like a hard time adjusting to that. So you kind of have to just keep doing it for yourself. And then with this blog thing, I have this like weird audience of people who like my work and like whenever like fuck up and not like post stuff for a long time. Like, there's some more, come on, man.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
That's cool. But I don't know. Sometimes I kind of feel like I've almost. I don't know. I'm not quite as good with it now because I've been busy with all this other shit.
Yeah.
Had some shows and doing all this stuff, and so I haven't kept up with it much.
You should. It's a nice blog.
No, I do, but my whole thing about it was I would post something and do it.
Yeah.
But recently I've been doing these much longer projects. The drawings and painting that take a few weeks to do, so it's like it takes up all my time now, so I can't post as much stuff.
Do you have a preference to type of work?
I mean that stuff I did like the drawing a day thing was fun because it was just like whatever came to my head. So I'm just drawing.
You were very gestural.
Yeah, kind of just whatever happened. But I don't know. I like doing longer work too because to me it feels more substantial. Being able to sustain an interesting idea. Something. Just like making sure doodling. I don't know, I try to do both. That's kind of where this project came from, the drawings on the wall. Just sort of like doodling on the wall.
This last one you did?
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so the mural I did last month was kind of stuff I did. So, I think I have a show coming up at Umsel.
Okay.
In August. I'm gonna make another vase there.
It's cranking stuff out.
Yeah, I find that I'm happiest when I'm busy or when I have a show coming up. Because after my show in New York, I was kind of like, what am I going to do now? Because it had been a year since like, I didn't have a show coming up. So I was kind of like bummed out. But luckily I had a show happen.
How'd you get the Emerson show?
It was funny. Last fall I applied for a grant rack. I didn't get it. But this guy who was on the jury saw my work and liked it a lot. So he picked
That's great.
Yeah, so in a weird way to work out. So, sure.
Well, it seems to be happening for you working out.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm happy you're busy.
Maybe modest about it. Do you really like you more?
I don't know. It's fun. Yeah. Like I said, I'm happy when I'm working. So, yeah. But the Unschool show is exciting because it's my first show at a university. We're gonna have like an artist panel,
Oh, cool.
catalog and all that shit.
Are they paying for all that stuff? The catalog and everything?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Unschool does a thing every year where it's like an emerging artist showcase. So they pick 2 or 3 artists from either St. Louis or Missouri. Good show. So I'm part of that show. That's cool.
So how many other artists from your work?
There's me and 2 other people.
Do you know them, or did you know their work beforehand?
I did not know the work beforehand. One woman is actually a tattoo artist.
Just
Yeah.
what type of work is she showing?
She was showing actually sculptures. Like tattooing is just her day job. And then she's showing like these relief sculptures that are wax. It's not like anatomical drawings and stuff. And the other guy is he's a printmaker right next door. And that guy, Tom Huck.
I don't know what's his deal.
He used to teach at Washington, so they look at yeah, he has a print shop across the street from here. And, so this guy, he works for me, he makes mostly cut prints. So, yeah.
So it's a 3D.
Yeah, I haven't met any of them yet. That's it.
Is there someone curating the show, or are you guys trying to do this for free for all?
No, the guy who runs the gallery at Unschool.
What's his name? When's that show open?
August 8th.
So there's a lot of like dismembered body parts in your work.
Yeah. So.
Does that come from your experiences with death? And your
Yeah, I think so, because it's like once you see a dead body, it's like you realize the kind of object.
Yeah.
It feels like a cold piece of meat. So
it is a cold piece of meat.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So, it's kind of funny how. Yeah. So this sort of. I guess that got some image. So yeah.
What's your favorite medium to work in?
Right now I'm looking at doing ballpoint pen drawings. Paper.
Ballpoint pen on paper?
Yeah. This is pretty good. And I used to also do like paintings and gouache. And also kind of do this stuff right now, which is like this like acrylic pen.
Is it a paint pen, yeah?
Yeah, paint pen. It's pretty fun. The drawing is expensive.
So why the black on white, this project, or the white on black?
White on black, I don't know.
Contrast?
Yeah, I just sort of like the graphic quality.
So your work really originates graphic quality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like drawing on chalkboard.
Not horrible noises.
Right. I don't know. I just I don't think much about that kind of stuff. Like, why this happens? I had this thing I had to paint, and I just sort of made it up as a so yeah, it seemed to work well. Originally, I thought I was going to like paint like brushes and stuff. Not using.
So were you trained in school? Or was your
I majored in painting. So a lot of painting stuff.
Did you ever fall into the new media trap?
I did, yeah, of course.
There's a lot of people who study painting, basically, by senior year, half of us didn't paint for our thesis job.
Yeah.
And the other half kind of did. I was the one who did. So I tried to do media stuff, I did video stuff, I did recordings and sound stuff, but photography and some photography, stuff like that. But I found it's cool, but I'm not like, to me, I like being able to, I don't know, like I'm not like a tech guy, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of a Luddite. So I'm most comfortable with just drawing and stuff. So when I recently collaborated with like people on like videos and stuff, even like filmmaking, I like it better when I like work with someone who's like technically gifted, knows what they're doing.
Isn't printmaking very technical though? Like methodical?
Yeah, it's a real pain in the fucking ass. So to work with the printmakers is much better. So you have to worry about all the positioning and stuff. Well, I just have to come up with a cool image. That's incredible. Yeah, so so I found that I like collaborating. I think I collaborated with you, that video you to my first photos.
Yeah.
So it was much better that you took those pictures than me.
How'd that turn out?
Good. You just sent it to me.
We did.
I'll have to show it to me.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah,
That was from the book, right? That was a promo from the book, or in connection with the book?
It originally was for the book video, and then I ended up doing this like lecture at camp.
Is that for the teenagers?
Yeah, for the kids. And I had to speak to like a room full of teenagers about my work, and I just thought that sounds like the most horrible experience ever. Just like what could be more boring than me just like running on about my, kind of like I'm doing now. But so I instead of like me just doing a PowerPoint, I made like a video of me giving a PowerPoint. Me was like a doll, like a stick figure kind of thing.
Here.
Yeah, we used those photographs we took. So it was like a cutout version. And I was at like a fake little miniature.
So that's why you have the frame by frame movement.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, exactly, yeah. Shitty stop motion stuff. Yeah, so that was cool. It went great. And I worked with my friend Kat Vester, who's a filmmaker out of New York. So she looked up this cool video.
I think I saw the screenshot of it, the one still from it. There was a nice table.
Yeah, she goes to like the dollar store and like buys stuff. That's exactly what she's doing. Sets art. So that was cool. So yeah, like, I could have made a video on my own, but it would have taken me 8 times as long and it would look like shit.
I mean, she knows what she's doing.
Right. Is she? Yes, I like collaborating. But
Are you trying to next one?
yeah, so
Let me project.
there's no ice cream.
It's a hollow film.
Yeah, I'll
That's sad.
But yeah, so I did this lecture for the teenagers, and so I just showed the video instead of giving a lecture. Yeah, seemed to appreciate that.
Did you speak at all? No.
No. But I made
You
sure
just
to,
walked up and pressed play.
yeah, I made sure to wear the same outfit. Yeah.
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. So they seemed to appreciate that I wasn't another artist.
What is your vision?
I really haven't been. I wish I did. I wish I could see visions. Like that.
Are you clairvoyant either?
No, not really. But I don't know. Yeah, because I just feel like when I was in college, we had to go to artist lectures every week, and they were always like, didn't matter if the art was good or not. It's like usually the speaker was not, the artist was not good at speaking.
Yeah.
So it just became this snore fest.
And PowerPoints are kind of the worst way to look at art.
Absolutely.
So it's just like a lose-lose. So,
You gotta think.
In every aspect of what you do. When it's talking to teenagers.
Talking to teenagers, you gotta, but no, so that was fun experience.
Would you do it again? Talk to teenagers.
Yeah, but I think I actually made a new video. So that's the only thing.
So you're very active in the scenes.
Yeah, I try to be. I feel like I spend all my time here, so it's always a good excuse to go out, build relationships.
What's that N-word networking? Is that it?
That's a very dirty word. That's what I'm doing. I'm supporting the small art community someplace. So yeah, I try to go to as many shows and openings.
It seems like there.
Yeah, just because it's like when I have a show, I know people will come.
Absolutely.
And luckily, St. Louis is so small that like when I moved back here after college, I got a job working at White Flag, and it was kind of like very quickly you realize you saw kind of the same people over and over again.
Sometimes the same type of work.
Oh yeah. So it's all works out. As a new kid on the block, so I was all.
Are you an American patriot?
Love America, America's pretty cool. Why do you like it?
It's really the only place I know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to travel a little bit and learn that, like, everywhere is fucked up, so you might as well just like. Even when I went to Italy and everything's beautiful, Mediterranean, it's like find something horrible. So, but I think I'd like to look at some other things.
Where do you think you want to join?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a citizen of Israel, so I could easily move back. I think up there, interesting arts.
Yeah, you do.
But I don't know. It's kind of fun to like study Hebrew. Some trailer checks. On the beach.
Schnitzel also.
Schnitzel.
You have to join the army if you move back there?
No. I can get out of the army in Israel if you tell them you're going to college. So I was able to get out of it. That was one thing my mom was happy about when we moved back to America. She did not want us to go to the army. She was like a hippie. So, yeah, I don't know. Plus that he's over. Who's the guy? Some easy guy. Though my grandmother was a terrorist. I'm proud of her.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Israel used to be a British territory. Whatever you call it. So when Jews started moving there after the Holocaust and all that good stuff, they wanted to establish their own states, so they formed these like Jewish terrorist organizations. Each one had different beliefs. I think she was a part of the Haganah, which was a little bit more of an extreme group, and she, they would like take lipstick casings, turn them into bullets, and blow up different British things. So I haven't blew up a hotel. So I don't know. So honestly, that's maybe at some point he developed a reason.
Whose side was that on? Whose side was that on?
Your grandmother. My grandmother was. She was actually born in Israel before it became. some country. And so she joined the government. So, good times. And we all.
When was the last time you were back in Israel?
The last time was probably 2 years ago. So, yeah, we had to go because we had to like put the stone in my father's grave. So we had to wait like a year after he dies. So, yeah. But yeah, my mother lived in Israel for like 18 years. So they have all these friends who live in Israel. So it's an interesting place, to say the least. Because when I've gone back recently, it was when I was supposed to be in the army. So these kids I knew growing up all over. So,
Did you say growing up, you knew when you were
I
under one?
No, we'd go back all the time for like whole summers. And so I knew these kids growing up, friends of my family. They were my age, a lot of them were a little older. So every time I'd go back, some of them would have to join the army and stuff. So, to see that in kind of one person. I know with like, did you do like birthright and stuff?
No, I never did birthright.
So you just went?
Yeah, I have some family that lives there. David Scott.
What?
And David Scott.
Okay. That's cool. I'd like to think that I could have done it. That I kicked some ass. Whatever the fuck you have to do. But I went to an art school instead.
There's that new Army commercial for the American Army. That's like, you joined him to be a graphic designer. No, like, that's a guy with a plan, so maybe he would.
Go to community college. It's always a weird thing. It's a career. Yeah.
I mean, it's really helpful for some people.
Right, yeah, that's sure. If you don't.
Obvious, yeah.
Do you know any kids in your high school?
Two kids went to, what's the Naval Academy?
Oh, Melbourne?
Yeah. One went to West Point and one went to the Naval. Well, cadets or something, I don't know. More really friendly.
Right. Actually, I knew one guy, my neighbor went to West Point.
That's pretty intense. They're real serious. Respect there.
Then I knew other kids that went just straight up in the army, but they were always like kind of the dumb kid. Not to say people are dumb, but some of my own experience was always sort of tricky. So. Right.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta be fearless. Be feared right now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think most people have self-preservation.
Yeah.
It's like the main goal. Yeah, that's it. Especially during the Iraq War. So it's very curious. And you get to see the world.
I don't know if I want to see that one first. It's pretty fun.
It's quite a while, man. Or maybe just go to Germany.
Yeah.
I think if I had to go down there, this would be like in the Navy.
You love to see?
I don't know, I mean, like, not like any kind of naval battles anymore. You're not like blowing up German submarines. The Taliban doesn't have like a battleship. So I feel like most Navy people just kind of like, just like, you'd be like on like a airplane thing or whatever.
So the flies appear in your work a fair amount, so it's like gnats. So those gnats are flies.
I wouldn't say flies, you know, not insulting, nature books. Insects. But flies, yeah, I don't know, because kind of like the idea of, because you make like a scene, maybe you draw like what it looks like, what's going on, but you don't really know what it smells like. So if I had a lot of flies, then I can be like, oh, this person smells like shit, probably.
So the scene smells like shit that you're drawing?
Yeah, or this part smells like shit. You like draw shit sometimes.
No, I see.
So,
It's interesting that Mississippi does not turn into river of shit.
yeah, I think that's a good act.
Yeah, I
Description.
agree.
Become a river of shit. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. What are your feelings about St. Louis? Are you sticking around?
I'm not sticking around, but I hope to be coming back. I like St. Louis a lot.
Yeah.
It's a nice city. There's having a car really opened it up. Do you have a car here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't have a car yourself.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, WashU is a self-proclaimed bubble,
Yeah.
and they really, I think, like that description.
Well, I've experienced something extreme with that.
How so?
That's when I meet WashU people. Like, I had a friend in high school that went to WashU. Who was a year younger than me, so when I moved back, she was still at school. And I didn't know. Shout out to her. She's in New York now. But so I met a lot of WashU people. She was a senior, and it's really weird how like a lot of them never like I could tell them about like Cherokee Street or something. They never heard of it. Didn't know what it was. I guess they just don't have like a car or something. I don't know. The little people get pretty old.
We got old.
So when did you get a car?
Junior year.
That's good.
Yeah, it really opened up. We allowed me to have an internship down on Cherokee Street.
Right, yeah. That's great.
Also allowed me to haul my shit around the city. Too.
Yeah. So you drive it up from Florida?
No, my parents actually did. They came up for. I don't remember what they came up for.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. So where are you going?
I'm going to New York for a little bit. And my family's got an apartment up there.
Sure.
Up the west side, so it feels like the right move right now.
I have never been to the Upper West Side.
Really, it's really nice.
I've been to New York like a dozen times.
Well, next time we're up there.
Well, for this conference, I'm going to the Jewish Museum. We have like bring us out with this like apartment on the Upper West Side.
Oh, nice. Do you know where?
I forgot. You told us something. But, so I'd like to explore that.
When is that conference?
It's a Jewish organization called Tang.
No, when is it?
When? Oh, it's end of June, last week of June.
You've got a month before your own session.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm making work for it right now. So.
What are you making for that show?
Well, I'm going to show my work for that show in New York. This painting, I think I showed you.
Yeah, it's Spectrum, right?
Yeah, the Spectrum series, 15 paintings. And then I'm going to do one of these murals, like this, and then I'm going to do these drawings with all of them.
Okay.
Which like one of them. Show them. So, yeah, so, that should be enough, right?
So what's it like having a studio in the City Museum?
It's good. I was in a really shitty studio at Leftville before. And before that, I had my studio where I was living. So having a real studio is really good. I feel like I've been more productive as soon as I got it than I was before.
How long have you been here?
It was 2 years.
Nice. You carved out a nice space here.
Yeah, though I am starting to feel like it's getting a little small. So I need to like sell some stuff and get rid of stuff.
Just take over next door.
Oh yeah, well, I'd love to, as soon as there's like a studio that opens up, one of the other studios here, I'd love to like grab it and do something with it. Some of the other studios are really nice, like kitchens and bathroom.
The Flex's studio is huge.
Yeah, it's like amazing. Also, like really nice views, like huge windows and stuff.
So you got a nice telephone tower out there.
Yeah, I can look at a parking lot.
So here kids streaming.
Yeah, so I don't know, but the Lemp building was it was like kind of raw, really raw space. Had no heating,
Wow.
so it was pretty brutal. But I was only there for like 3 months, so I don't know. It was charming in a way because it was like this kind of it's like those read about people who are artists and they live like in a factory. That literally that's what it was. But I work at night, primarily.
Your classes are at night?
No, I
Studio.
teach. Yeah, I teach during the day and I get out about 3 o'clock. So I actually usually work at night. So working at the Lemp was like fucking desolate, empty, scary. If someone wanted to come murder me,
They could have.
he easily could have, and I know if I just like hiding some like shack, some like elevator shack or something. Like, oh, what happened to you? I don't know. He just
He's gone.
gone. Well, so.
I'm getting this to wrap this up.
All right, man. Well, great.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Great work, you know.
Thanks, man.